we'll jump right in. What's your name, your role, and how long have you been with Hetek?
Yeah, my name is Stephen Hollett. I've been with Hetek now going on almost 4 years. And my role is I'm a CalCheck technician as well as business development.
Could you tell me about the importance of the combustible gas sensors and what can be done with them?
So the importance of combustible sensors is allowing a on-man surveillance, basically, so that we take out the human element, and it's basically sniffing 24 hours a day. For the combustion, especially, it can create a very hazardous environment when it falls into its upper or lower ranges for potential explosion. And what people seem to forget is that most of this stuff is not detectable. And if it is, the concentrations that are there, once you smell it, it's already too late. So you don't want to be available at that time.
Mhm.
And utilizing the sensors and the surveillance, hopefully it'll be attached to an exhaust system that allows it to for the system to pretty much look after itself. So if it smells something, it thinks there's something wrong, an alarm will go off, an executive action will happen, and bring it back to a safe situation and make people aware so that they can do the proper investigation.
Yeah, so on that, you wouldn't be able to smell it before it gets to the point of explosion range, right?
Well, certain gases you will smell sooner, but so if you take propane, for example, that has a normal smell of rotten eggs, but a lot of people don't know this, that it's actually added to the system after the fact. Normally, natural gases don't have a smell. It's only because it's done in a commercial area. So to smell that amount, it wouldn't really take a lot. The issue you have is that once you smell it, you know now you're detecting it. And so if you think about like different gases and how they operate, propane and natural gases, they are heavier than air, so they'll fall and start filling up. So by the time it gets to your nose, from your feet to your nose is already an amount of gas already presented, especially if there's no mixing or no exhaust or airflow or new air being supplied.
Yeah, yeah. So, what can happen if you don't have these sensors and the gas does get to that certain range?
Yeah, so worst case scenario is going to be death, whether it's overcome by the amount of gas that's being released. Then the next thing would be explosion. So you have your potential damages to equipment and personnel and the arenas or other areas all by itself. Then you have the potential issue um, of the ramifications. So if you have a gas leak or if somebody's overcome with it, this is now public knowledge. So now people don't feel safe in the environments that you're trying to bring in a safe environment to, whether that would be employees or kids in certain areas or just patrons. Um, you know, if you look at ammonia, for example, which is a big thing in refrigeration, that dissipates and searches for moisture. And it actually attacks your moisture and membranes in your nose and in your eyes, and and it's a very toxic gas in very low concentrations. So because it's so low, certain areas actually have vestibules installed so that they can see that the area they're about to go into is safe before they enter because the dangers of the gas is so much. So yeah.
What are common community areas that you'd want monitoring in?
Funny enough, it's in most locations. So I'll go back to one additive. Ontario has actually passed legislation of the new carbon monoxide expectations. Before it was any areas that had potential to have I believe it was fire pits or areas that had combustible propane heaters, things like that. Now it's actually needed to be in every single area of the home where somebody was sleeping and where there could be the exposure. So going back to the community areas, underground parking garages have the possibility of CO. That's coming from any vehicles that are going in. We do a lot of those locally. You also have arenas where you would be potentially exposed to CO, NO2, as well as ammonia because of your refrigeration. So these are areas that are more concurrent with multiple populations. So everybody from, well, basically from 8 to 80, in some cases even younger. So anywhere where people congregate. And then one thing that is kind of funny is that there is a transition now with the combustion engines, and we're going to electric. So people are trying to do this for their Zambonis or their forklifts and things of that nature. But unfortunately, even with that, and you have CO, now you have the potential to expose people to hydrogen, which historically has been a very dangerous gas. And so you still want to be able to provide that type of surveillance and that those sensors for that new application. It doesn't get you scot-free for the lack of it. And educating customers and bringing them on and letting them understand the pitfalls or safety issues is something that we really pride ourselves on.
Yeah, yeah. How does Hetek prevent these measures?
Well, there's a few things that we do. One is that once somebody reaches out to us, we will do an original assessment to say, listen, these are some of the things that are dangerous or has the potential to be dangerous. We'll give certain recommendations based on their expectations and OH&S requirements and law. We'll then go and discuss nice to haves, things that will be like, okay, OH&S might say you need to have 2 detectors for this particular area. Well, when you have 2, you have no redundancy. So if you have a redundant sensor in this area, just something to keep in mind. The other thing is that we also take the guesswork out of it. So a customer calls us up, they get into our system, we do the initial assessment. We're now responsible to look after their equipment, and we call them up and say, hey, according to our batch, it looks like you're due for service in a few days or in this month or however far out we go, and we let them know we're coming up. So it's less of an impact on their day to day.
So you really don't have to worry about understanding or keeping things up to date because really we will explain everything to you.
Yes, and a lot of customers that I've had currently, and I would say every second one, they are so hesitant to show that they don't quite understand the environments and the hazards and stuff like that. But I've done more education on these type of systems and letting the public understand as well. It's a lot easier to um, put such an investment into safety equipment when you know why you need it and what can happen. And the sad thing is, it doesn't take a lot of Google know-how to say what happens if I'm exposed to. And something as simple as having a campfire, as bad as it sounds, every year that we have a really bad storm in Toronto or other areas that are not as bad as it sounds, not as rural as other places, you hear of somebody putting on a generator in their home, and there's loss. And people don't know, people don't understand, and we'll do whatever we can to give as much knowledge and support and direction. And like, even we also know that budgetary issues are always there, and this is something that a lot of customers are worried about. We have done a lot of work in the past and currently where we work with the person's budget, and then we develop a potential 3, 4, 5 stage plan so that we don't go and give them the Rolls Royce version as soon as we walk in through the door, but we give them enough to protect themselves, and then we add to it as time progresses. And it gives them the opportunity to develop their understanding and know what works and what doesn't. It gives us our ability to ensure that we're looking after our customer base, and then moving forward, we're able to they can depend on us, and that's a very big stepping stone.
That's all wonderful information. And anything else you want to add to that?
I guess the biggest thing is that there are people that have, or organizations that have these systems installed, and they think because they're green, they're fine and they're working fine and there's no potential issues. If you don't have it tested on a regular basis or maintained and looked after by someone who actually knows what they're looking at, there is always a false sense of security. And unfortunately, I've had numerous calls in which, yeah, but it's green. It looks fine. It worked well. It's working because I heard no alarms. No, it just means that it's not doing what it should do, and we don't know if it produces alarms. Conversely, you get numb to it. So some people have issues where all they hear is alarms, and they call us up, can you shut this thing up? And we can't because you were actually sitting in a cloud of CO, and they were at it for probably 3 or 4 weeks up to this point. So yeah, it's if you have the systems in place, maintain them, look after them, whether you're going through us or somebody else, ideally us, of course, but make sure you're maintaining your equipment, because if you don't, you basically have wall candy and everyone thinks you're safe. And I think that's probably more dangerous than having nothing on the wall.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really hope this helps some people and, they keep their systems up to date. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure. And like any other time in the future, if there's other discussion points or anything brought up, you're more than welcome to reach out. And most of our staff is exactly the same way.